नहीं रे, रुक जा 2 मिनट।
Good morning. Am I audible? Good morning. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Okay. Okay, so I think we'll start with the practical of hydraulic jump. Till now, only 33 students have joined. Okay. So is the screen visible to all?
Yes, sir.
Is the video visible to all?
Yes.
Or stop ahead. Okay. Others, what about others? Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So welcome you all to today's lecture. Not today. In today's lecture, what we are going to do is first, in the beginning, we will be watching a video on how to perform experiment on hydraulic jump. Okay, what all parameters we need to find. for this purpose, I have selected a video from the YouTube. I have even sent the link on our hydraulics group. Now, in this video, you can see that in the lab, there is a channel. Okay, there is a man-made channel which is also known as a flume. You may have seen it in your diploma colleges. Okay, in this we are going to simulate an open channel flow, and we are also going to simulate a hydraulic jump, and we are going to study its parameters. Okay, the video is just 5 minutes long. After the end of the video, we will take some questions. If there are no questions, then we will proceed to the notches and wears. I have sent you the notes of notches and wears yesterday. Okay, we will start discussing then notches and wears. So everyone should pay attention.
Hello students, today we will be performing on practical number 3, that is to demonstrate the hydraulic jump in the rectangular channel and to calculate the loss of energy. Okay, so first of all I will tell you the definition of hydraulic jump. It is the phenomena in which the flow passes from supercritical region to subcritical region due to distinct rise or jump of water in the air. Then I will tell you why we are creating the hydraulic jump. To dissipate the energy or to reduce the velocity of flow. Because we cannot dispose that high velocity water into the downstream side, because to avoid the erosion and sedimentation. Okay, then I will tell you how to demonstrate, how to create the hydraulic jump. I will start the motor. As I already told, this is the sluice gate. With the help of this sluice gate, we are going to create the hydraulic jump. Okay. First of all, we will plate for to regularize the flow in the open channel. So here we are going to measure the depth the depth of the flow before the jump and the depth of the flow after the jump. Here there are the scales. Okay, I will lower this sluice gate.
Okay, I have paused the video. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So you can see here, this can be considered as a sluice gate. Okay. Now, what has been done here? The water is being it is being somewhat restricted due to the sluice gate, and the sluice gate is opened a little bit, so water flows through that sluice gate. Now you can see here in the beginning the flow is supercritical, and then next immediately the flow converts to subcritical, and you will observe here that the length of this hydraulic jump which converts the supercritical to subcritical, let me just show you that length. Okay, so you can see the hydraulic jump is starting. I'll just use the red pen. The hydraulic jump is starting from this point and it is ending, okay, where the turbulence ends. The turbulence is ending somewhat here. Okay, so this is the total length of the hydraulic jump, LJ. Okay, and you can calculate the height of hydraulic jump by taking difference between the depth of flow before the hydraulic jump and depth of flow after the hydraulic jump, y2 minus y1. Okay, so let's proceed.
Yes, this is the hydraulic jump. Here it is the initial depth that we are going to measure here. Wait.
Okay, now here you can observe that as we lower the sluice gate more and as the velocity increases, okay, of the supercritical flow, the length of the jump is going to decrease considerably. Okay, length of the jump काय होणार आहे इथं decrease होणार आहे. Okay, आणि height of the jump काय होणार आहे it is going to increase. Okay, so this is y1, depth of the flow before the jump, and this is y2, depth of the flow after the jump. So proceeding.
We can directly insert the scale into this channel and we can measure the depth of the flow. Yes, we can measure here initial depth of the flow before the jump, and here we can measure depth of the flow after the jump. This jump is not stable, it depends upon the crowd number. As we already know that the types of the jump depending upon the crowd number. Okay, now I will show you how to measure the discharge that I have already explained in the last practical. So this is the measuring tank, this is the measuring tank. Okay, we have dimensions of this measuring tank, that means width and breadth of this measuring tank. One person is required to measure the initial level and final level. Initial level and final level. Okay. To raise, and one more person is required to measure the time required for water level to raise from initial level to final level. And we calculate the discharge by formula using volume upon time. Volume upon time. So we have two dimensions of this measuring tank, and third.
Okay, now if you can see here, this is a measuring tank. Okay, and at its side you can see a piezometer is attached. Okay, I'll just show the piezometer at the side. So at the side of the tank, the piezometer is attached with a scale to it. इथं जर तुम्ही साइडला बघितलं व्हाईट कलरची ही जी पट्टी आहे, that is nothing but the measuring scale. So what we do here is, in the piezometer, whatever the level that will be in the tank, that level will show in the piezometer. जेवढी टँक मधली वॉटर लेवल वाढणार आहे तेवढीच piezometer मधली वॉटर लेवल वाढणार आहे. Okay, and now what is going to do is he is going to measure the discharge.
Volume upon time. Volume upon time. So we have two dimensions of this measuring tank, and third dimension is the height. That is from initial level to final level. Say from for 50 mm to 150 mm. The time required to raise the level from 50 mm to 150 mm. Okay. So that is the height, and that is the third dimension. Two dimensions we already have. Okay. So by using three dimensions divided by time, that is nothing but our discharge. Okay. I will show the calculation part of this practical. So we have y1 is the y1 is the depth before the jump, y1 is the depth before the jump, and y2 is the jump after the jump. Okay. So y1 and y2 we have, so we can easily calculate this loss of energy by using this formula y2 minus y1 bracket raised to 2 and 4 into y1 into y2. Okay. By using this formula we can easily calculate the loss of energy. Now we will see condition for occur the hydraulic jump. Condition for the occur the jump means in which situation jump will occur. So YC should be greater than Y1. YC is what? Critical rate. YC is what? Critical rate. Okay. Critical rate should be greater than Y1. Okay. And one more condition is that FR1 should be greater than 1. FR1 is what? Crowd number of the flow before the jump. Crowd number of the flow before the jump, that should be greater than 1, and in that condition only jump will occur. So this was our aim, to calculate the loss of energy and to demonstrate the hydraulic jump. As I already shown you how to create the hydraulic jump with the help of CS gate and how to calculate the loss of energy by using this formula. Okay, that's it. Hello students, today we will be performing on practical number 3, that is to demonstrate the hydraulic jump.
Okay, so I hope the video was properly visible and audible to you all? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let us see. We have a similar apparatus that is the flume in our fluid mechanics lab in our college. So as Patki sir told in the parents meeting, if we are allowed to open somewhere around this month, okay, then what we can do is we can call the students batch wise, okay, and tell them to perform the practical. So you can, we have a similar flume in our lab. So what we do there, okay, we have a scale attached. We'll be having scale attached at two different positions where we can measure y1, that is depth before the jump, and y2, that is depth after the jump. Next, what we can do, we can find out the height of hydraulic jump by doing y2 minus y1. Then we can find out the length of hydraulic jump, and lastly we can find out the loss of energy in the hydraulic jump by using the formula y2 minus y1 whole bracket cube upon 4 y1 y2. Okay, this, using this formula we can find out the loss of energy. Most of the time in practical examinations, you will be asked to find out the loss of energy due to the hydraulic jump. So this experiment, I think it is the most simplest experiment that you can find in the whole of hydraulics 1 and hydraulics 2. Simply you have to start the flow in the flume, and then when the hydraulic jump occurs, you have to calculate y1 and y2, and based on that you have to find out the loss of energy or the loss of head due to the hydraulic jump. Okay. Now next, what he did was he calculated the discharge. Okay. Any experiment that you do, you have to calculate the discharge that is taking place through the either through the pipe, either through the open channel, etc. Now what was done here is, हा या प्रकारचा फ्ल्यूम होता ज्यातनं फ्लो अकर होत होतं, आणि हा फ्ल्यूम काय होत होतं, शेवटी जाऊन एका मेजरिंग टँक मध्ये त्यातलं ते पाणी पडत होतं. ओके. नाउ at the side of the measuring tank, as I showed you, there was a piezometer with a scale attached to it. Okay, and whatever the level of water will be in the measuring tank, the same level of water will be in the piezometer. So in short, piezometer will show the water level in the tank. Okay, the scale will be already attached to the piezometer, or you can attach your own scale to the piezometer. Now, how to measure discharge? Discharge formula काय? You know one of the formula, that is area into velocity, that we all know. There is another method or another formula for finding out discharge, and it is used when we are collecting water into a measuring tank, and that formula is volume upon time. Volumeचं युनिट काय आहे? मीटर क्यूब. टाइमचं युनिट काय आहे? सेकंड. सो as you know, the unit of discharge is meter cube per second. So how to measure the discharge which is flowing into a measuring tank? For that, first you have to calculate the dimensions of the tank. Either you should know the dimensions of the tank, or you have to calculate it. Okay, so by finding out the dimensions of the tank जर तुमचं रेक्टँग्युलर किंवा स्क्वेअर असेल तर तुम्ही त्याचं डायमेन्शन्स कॅल्क्युलेट करून, हे मी काय करतोय, वरचा व्ह्यू दाखवतोय, टॉप व्ह्यू. ओके, फॉर एक्झाम्पल इट इज समथिंग अराउंड 40 सेंटीमीटर टू 35 सेंटीमीटर जर तुमचा टँक असेल, सो द एरिया ऑफ द क्रॉस सेक्शनल एरिया ऑफ द टँक विल बी 40 into 35. ओके, that is 1400 centimeter square. ओके, फॉर एक्झाम्पल या प्रकारे तुमचं एरिया, क्रॉस सेक्शनल एरिया ऑफ द टँक तुमचा आलेला आहे. नाउ व्हॉट यू आर गोइंग टू डू, you are going to select a datum. For example, 5 सेंटीमीटर पर्यंत वॉटर लेवल मी काय करतो, डेटम कन्सिडर करतो. आता 5 सेंटीमीटरला मी काय करतो, माझं स्टॉपवॉच जो आहे स्टॉपवॉच चालू करतो मी. ओके, आणि यात वॉटर लेवल इन्क्रीज व्हायला देतो मी. आता वॉटर लेवल यात इन्क्रीज व्हायला लागली तर काय करतो, जेव्हा वॉटर लेवल 10 सेंटीमीटर पर्यंत जाईल, फ्रॉम 5 सेंटीमीटर वॉटर लेवल जेव्हा 10 सेंटीमीटर पर्यंत जाईल तोपर्यंत मी माझं स्टॉपवॉच चालू ठेवणार. आणि जेव्हा 10 सेंटीमीटर लेवल पर्यंत पाणी पोहोचेल तेव्हा मी माझं स्टॉपवॉच स्टॉप करणार. ओके, आय विल स्टॉप द टाइम. सो what I am measuring is how much second it requires for the water level to rise from 5 centimeter to 10 centimeter. For example, तुम्हाला लागलेत 15 सेकंड. Okay, 15 seconds is required for the water level to rise from 5 centimeter to 10 centimeter. So how will you calculate it? I'll just rub here everything and then I'll show you. Formula you already know, discharge is equal to volume upon time. Now the volume of the volume of the tank will be area of the tank multiplied by increase in water level divided by time. Okay, तर एरिया आपण किती फाइंड आउट केलेला आहे, 1400 सेंटीमीटर स्क्वेअर. ओके, राइज इन वॉटर लेवल किती आहे, फ्रॉम 5 सेंटीमीटर टू 10 सेंटीमीटर, म्हणजे राइज इन वॉटर लेवल किती आहे, 5 सेंटीमीटर टोटल, डिवायडेड बाय टाइम किती लागलेला आहे, 15 सेकंड. Okay, so you can calculate 1400 divided by 3 and you will get the discharge that is flowing through the open channel, or discharge which is flowing through the flume. Similarly, in our hydraulics 1 practicals, okay, hydraulics 1 मध्ये आपलं flow through pipes particularly आहे. तर त्या flow through pipes मध्ये, okay, generally in that flow through pipes we calculate the discharge which is flowing through the pipe with the help of a measuring tank which is attached at the end of the pipe. म्हणजे पाईप मधलं जेवढं पाणी आहे ते त्या टँक मध्ये पडणार आणि आपण या सिमिलर मेथडनी काय करणार आहे, त्या पाईप मधलं आपण डिस्चार्ज फाइंड आउट करणार. ओके, सो दिस इज द एक्सपेरिमेंट ऑफ हायड्रॉलिक जम्प. इज देयर एनी क्वेश्चन? Okay, today's strength is very low. Okay, so any questions?
No, sir.
सर
Yes.
सर वो जो तुम टाइम का बोले ना सर, वो कैसा कंसीडर करने का बोलो, बिफोर द जंप आफ्टर द जंप, क्या सर?
What?
टाइम सर, डिस्चार्ज कर देते हैं वैल्यूम अपॉन टाइम सर.
A time, I said you, stopwatch, you have to start the stopwatch when the water level is at, for example, 5 centimeter. Stopwatch start करने का, और जब 10 सेंटीमीटर वाटर लेवल रीच करेगा, जब आपको पीजोमीटर में देखेगा कि वाटर लेवल हैज रीच 10 सेंटीमीटर, देन यू हैव टू स्टॉप द स्टॉपवॉच. You have to record the time which is required for the water level to rise from 5 centimeter to 10 centimeter.
ओ सर, ओके सर.
Yes, others, any questions? Okay, so should we start with our new point, that is notches and wears from the first unit?
Yes, sir.
Yes, please answer.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
सर हाईट 5 mm घ्यायचं का म्हणजे डाटम पासून 10 mm घ्यायचं नाही का?
तुम्ही काही डेटम घेऊ शकता, फक्त मी काय म्हटलं, एक पर्टिक्युलर हाईट पासून एका पर्टिक्युलर हाईट पर्यंत किती सेकंड लागतात ते आपल्याला कॅल्क्युलेट करायचं. फॉर एक्झाम्पल तुम्ही 2 सेंटीमीटर डेटम ठेवू शकताय, मग 2 सेंटीमीटर पासून फॉर एक्झाम्पल 15 सेंटीमीटर पर्यंत वॉटर लेवल राईज व्हायला किती सेकंड लागतात ते कॅल्क्युलेट करायचं. मग टोटल हाईट किती झाली फ्रॉम 2 सेंटीमीटर टू 15 सेंटीमीटर, हाईट किती झाली ती 13 सेंटीमीटरची. ओके, आता 13 सेंटीमीटर वॉटर लेवल राईज व्हायला किती सेकंड लागले? फॉर एक्झाम्पल 30 सेकंड्स लागले. ओके, ते स्टॉपवॉच मध्ये तुम्ही ते कॅल्क्युलेट करायचं. यू कॅन टेक एनी डेटा.
ओके सर.
Okay, is the screen visible to you all? Contents?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is the content of first unit that we have already studied. We have studied introduction of open channel flow. The title of the first unit was Introduction to Open Channel Flow. So in the first part we have studied what is an open channel flow. Then we have studied the difference between pipe flow and open channel flow. Then we have studied the different types of open channels. Okay, depending upon shape, rectangular channel or trapezoidal channel or triangular channel. Then different types of flow in open channel. That means whether the flow is steady, unsteady, uniform, non-uniform or varied flow. Then whether it is one-dimensional, two-dimensional, three-dimensional flow. Okay, whether it is subcritical, supercritical or critical flow. These different types of flows we have studied in the open channel. Then we studied the geometric elements. What are the geometric elements? It is depth of flow, width, bottom width, top width, then hydraulic radius. Okay, hydraulic depth. These are the different geometric elements of open channel that we studied. Then velocity distribution part. We studied that how in an open channel the maximum velocity is at a point just below the surface. Okay, and then from that point the velocity goes on decreasing. Then next we studied the different instruments used to measure velocity. We had already studied pitot tube in the first semester in hydraulics 1 in the applications of Bernoulli's equation. Then we studied the current meter, instrument of current meter, how current meter is used, how it utilizes the angular movement of the rotor in order to measure the velocity of flowing water in an open channel. Okay, इथपर्यंत आपलं फर्स्ट युनिट मध्ये झालेलं आहे. Any questions regarding it?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, we had not covered this last 5 points. That is wear and spillway, calibration of wear, time of emptying tank with wear, profile of Hoge spillway, and flow below gates. Okay. So from today we are going to study these points, and then when we finish with these points, our first section of the 3 units will be over. Then we'll start with the second section. Second section means we'll start with the fourth unit, fifth unit, and then we'll finish with the sixth unit. So let us start it. Okay, so we'll start with today the point of notches and weirs. What is meant by notches and weirs? Now there are some differences between notches and weir. You already know what is a weir. Okay, weir मध्ये मराठी शब्द मध्ये शब्द काय आहे weir ला?
बंधारा, बांध.
Okay, very good. So in this chapter, okay, or in this part of the chapter, we are going to study about what are weirs, what are notches, and what is spillway. Okay, in detail. Now, before starting, let me show you a video. Let me share a video with you. First, we will see a video about what is the difference between notches and weirs. Okay.
Notch and wear. Let us see what notch and wear is. Notch may be defined as an opening in the side of a tank or small channel used for measuring the rate of flow of a liquid through a small channel or a tank. The bottom edge over which the fluid flows is known as a sill or crest of the notch. Sheet of liquid flowing over a notch is known as a nape or wade. Wear. Wear is generally in the form of a vertical ball with a sharp edge at the top placed in an open channel over which the flow occurs. The notch is of small size, while the wear is of bigger size. The notch is generally made of metallic plate, while wear is made of concrete or masonry structure.
Okay, this was the first video. Now let me share the second video of practical engineering.
Being able to control the level of water in a river is beneficial in quite a few ways. Historically, mills relied on water power to drive saws, grinding wheels, and other equipment. Raising the water level in a river can also allow boats and ships to navigate areas that would otherwise be inaccessible. Finally, having control of a river can help mitigate the damaging impacts of flooding. But how do we get this type of control over the level in a body of water? Hey, I'm Grady, and this is Practical Engineering. On today's episode, we're talking about weirs. This video is sponsored by Skillshare, the best way to learn a new skill online. More on that later. A weir is a small dam built across a river to control the upstream water level. Weirs have been used for ages to control the flow of water in streams.
Okay, is the video and audio proper, everyone?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Rivers and other water bodies. Unlike large dams which create reservoirs, the goal of building a weir across a river isn't to create storage, but only to gain some control over the water level. Over time, the term weir has taken on a more general definition in engineering to apply to any hydraulic control structure that allows water to flow over its top, often called its crest. In fact, the spillways of many large dams use weirs as control structures. So how do they work? If you watch my previous video on the basics of open channel hydraulics, you'll remember that for subcritical flow, that is, slow, tranquil flow seen in most rivers, the depth is controlled by downstream conditions. That means adding a weir across a river will increase the water level upstream. But by how much depends on the flow. This is the equation for flow over a weir. We're not going to do any calculations here, but it's important to know the factors that govern the performance of our hydraulic structure. This equation says that the amount of flow that passes over a weir depends on three factors: the length of the weir, the height of the water level above the crest of the weir, and this coefficient which changes depending on the geometry of the weir. The graph of a hydraulic structure's flow versus water level is called its rating curve, and this is the rating curve for a typical weir. In many cases, a weir is a passive structure, meaning that once it's installed, there's no way to change this rating curve, and that's not always ideal. Streams and rivers are subject to tremendous variability in flow rate. A hydraulic structure may normally flow a small amount, but in flooding conditions be asked to pass incredible volumes of water. With a passive structure and fixed rating curve, that variability in flow means tremendous variability in the water level upstream. During a flood, a weir may back up water badly enough to cause damage upstream. If you're using a weir for a spillway on a dam, you might have to build your dam much higher just to handle the water level that occurs during very rare but extreme cases, increasing the overall cost of the structure. Ideally, hydraulic structures used to control water level would have a flat rating curve, meaning over a wide range of flows you only get small changes in level. So how could we flatten this curve? Going back to the weir equation, there are only two other parameters available to increase the flow for a given water surface. We can improve the geometry of the weir to increase its efficiency. Different shapes of weirs can pass flow more efficiently and thus have a higher discharge coefficient, but this has a practical limit. The most efficient shape for a weir is to match the curve that the water would take off a sharp crest. This part of the flow is called the weir's nap, and the shape that matches it is called an ogee. With ogee-crested weirs, we can get discharge coefficients as high as around 4, but that's pretty much the limit. The other parameter we can change is the length of the weir, but in many locations, the available footprint for the weir is a fixed size that can't be increased. Even if the footprint isn't fixed, increasing the length of the weir can add significant costs. Of course, this challenge is easy to address if we allow for structures with moving parts. Many dams and spillways have large gates or valves to control flow. There are a wide variety of types of controlled outlets used on hydraulic structures, including crest gates that act like weirs that can be raised or lowered. The benefit is that the structure's capacity can be increased while flows are high by opening gates, and then decreased when flows return back to normal. Controlled structures provide more flexibility in how water gets released or held back, essentially turning a static rating curve into a family of curves that can be selected from to meet operational goals. Of course, controlled outlets come with a major disadvantage of increased complexity, and in many cases, requiring an actual person be available 24/7 to open gates and make releases based on inflows. So what if we could get the benefit of a controlled outlet without the disadvantages of increased complexity and operational obligation? Well, there's one more trick that hydraulic engineers have up their sleeves. Remember when before I said you could only fit a certain length of weir within a fixed footprint? That's not completely true. We can actually fold a weir to get more length within a given space. This is called a nonlinear weir, and it's used in situations where you want greater discharge within a given footprint, but without the need for actively controlled outlets. To show how this works, I built this flume and some model weirs. This first weir just goes directly across the flume with no bends. I'll mark the water level in the flume, first using the straight weir. Now with the same flow rate, I'll replace the linear weir with the folded version. This has just about twice as much weir length in the same footprint. You can see that even though the weir is passing the same amount of flow, the water level upstream is lower, almost half the distance to the crest from the original level. We flatten the rating curve, allowing for greater discharge at a lower water level. Nonlinear weirs with folded cycles like this are called labyrinth weirs, and they're becoming more common as hydraulic control structures. There are also rectangular versions called piano key weirs. It's easy to see how beneficial weirs can be, from generating power to improving navigation, controlling flooding, and even acting as the spillways of dams. But with all those benefits, there are some downsides as well. Impoundments across rivers affect the aquatic environment. Low-head dams can also pose a serious danger to swimmers and boaters, a topic I'd like to discuss in the future. In fact, many old weirs that are no longer needed are being replaced or completely removed to restore the river to its natural state. But as long as we need to control the flow of water in our constructed environment, weirs will continue to be an important tool for a hydraulic engineer. Thank you for watching, and let me know what you think.
Okay. Okay, did everyone watch the video? Was it properly audible and visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you have got a basic idea from the video of what is a weir. Okay, again I will recommend you जो तुम्ही आता व्हिडिओ बघितला त्या इंजिनियरचा एक चॅनल आहे प्रॅक्टिकल इंजिनिअरिंग म्हणून. ओके, you can watch the video. There are many videos on hydraulics, on transportation, as well as on soil mechanics. As you know, it as geotechnical engineering. So you can watch his videos on YouTube. They are very interesting. He explains the concept of civil engineering in very easy manner. So I recommend you to watch those videos. Now coming back to our notches and weirs. In the first video that I showed you, notches and weir. So what is a weir? Weir is an open hydraulic structure in an open channel. But what are notches? Notches are the opening provided at the side of a tank or a channel. जसं फॉर एक्झाम्पल तुम्हाला सांगतो मी, एक टँक आहे, जसं आपण मेजरिंग टँक आपण बघितलं होतं त्याप्रमाणे आपण कन्सिडर करूया. देर इज अ मेजरिंग टँक. बट okay, now what I want to do, when the measuring tank reaches a certain water level, I want to drain out that water. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create an opening here. Okay, I'm going to create an opening here. म्हणजे काय होणार, वॉटर लेवल जेव्हा या क्रेस्ट लेवलच्या वरती जाणार, दिस इज द क्रेस्ट ऑफ द नॉच. ओके, वॉटर लेवल जेव्हा या क्रेस्टच्या वरती जाणार तेव्हा काय होणार, वॉटर विल स्टार्ट टू फ्लो आउट ऑफ द टँक. सिमिलरली नॉचेस आर ऑल्सो युज्ड इन चॅनल्स. फॉर एक्झाम्पल, हे या नॉचेस आपल्या इंडियामध्ये तरी एवढं नाही, इन फॉरेन कंट्रीज जे ऍग्रिकल्चरल फील्ड्स असतात मोठमोठे, तिथं फार्मर्स काय करतात, एक त्यांचा चॅनल असतो, ओपन चॅनल. ओके, जो त्यांच्या ऍग्रिकल्चरल फील्ड मधून फ्लो होत असतोय आणि त्या चॅनल थ्रू ते काय करतात, त्यांच्या वेगवेगळ्या फील्ड्सना पाणी प्रोव्हाइड करतात. आता या चॅनल मधनं जेव्हा वॉटर फ्लो होत असतो, ओके, तेव्हा काय करतात, प्रत्येक फील्डच्या इथं, फॉर एक्झाम्पल तुम्ही इथं शुगर केन लावलेला आहे या फील्डमध्ये, आणि या मेन चॅनल मधून या तुम्हाला डिस्ट्रीब्युटरी चॅनल मध्ये पाणी तुम्हाला पाठवायचं आहे. जो हा डिस्ट्रीब्युटरी चॅनल कुठं जातोय, शुगर केन फील्डला. ओके, आणि हा तुमचा मेन चॅनल आहे. तर इथं काय केलं जाणार, देर विल बी अ नॉच. म्हणजे मेन चॅनल मधलं वॉटर लेवल जर या क्रेस्टच्या लेवलच्या वरती गेलं तर काय होणार, इट विल स्टार्ट फ्लोईंग टू द डिस्ट्रीब्युटरी चॅनल अप टू द शुगर केन फील्ड. सिमिलरली डिफरंट लोकेशन्स वरती तुम्ही काय करणार आहे, नॉच करणार आहे. म्हणजे वॉटर लेवल त्या लेवल पर्यंत इन्क्रीज झालं तर काय होणार, इट इज गोइंग टू गो टू दॅट पर्टिक्युलर फील्ड. अँड दिस टाइप ऑफ चॅनल सिस्टीम यू कॅन फाइंड इट इन युरोपियन फार्मलँड्स. US आणि युरोपमध्ये नॉर्मली जे मेकॅनाइज्ड फार्म्स आहेत, जिथं मशीन्सचं जास्त युज केलं जातं. आपल्या इंडियामध्ये कसं आहे, इवन नाव ऍग्रिकल्चर, many farmers have very small agricultural land holdings, so they do not find the need in order to mechanize their farms. Okay, सगळं हाताने सुरू असते सगळं. जर तुमचं पंप एक सोडलं तर बाकी सगळं काय असतंय, आणि एक ट्रॅक्टर एक सोडलं तर बाकी काही मेकॅनाइज नसते. सगळे लोक कामाला लावतात, सगळं त्याचं फार्मिंग केली जाते. बट इन युरोप अँड इन US if you see the whole, they have got very large agricultural land holdings, and in order to handle that those large lands, agricultural land, the farmers use mechanized means, and one of the mechanized mean is to use notches in the open channel system. Now we are going to study about the notches and weirs. In today's lecture, we'll see the classification of notches and weirs in today's lecture. So let us start. First, we'll see what is a notch. A notch may be defined as an opening in one side of a tank or a reservoir, that means a channel, like a large orifice with the upstream liquid level below the top edge of the opening. म्हणजे काय, फॉर एक्झाम्पल हा तुमचा नॉच आहे, दिस इज द क्रेस्ट. ओके, this is the crest of the notch. So the upstream liquid level will always be below the top edge of the opening. Okay, तर हा नॉच डिझाईनच या प्रकारे केलाय की जर अपस्ट्रीम वॉटर लेवल जर या टॉप एजच्या वरती गेलं तर ते काय होणार आहे, ते बाहेर पडणार आहे. या प्रकारे त्याला डिझाईन केलं जातं. सो a notch may also be regarded as an orifice with the water surface below its upper edge. Now, a notch is generally made of metallic plate. We are going to see the images so you will be easily able to understand. And it is used for measuring the rate of flow of a liquid through a small channel or a tank. Okay. Normally तुम्ही जर बघितलं तर टँक मध्ये हे जे जास्त तुम्हाला युजेस दिसतील, आणि स्मॉल चॅनल्स म्हणजे ओपन चॅनल पर्टिक्युलरली तुम्हाला ऍग्रिकल्चरल फील्ड्स मधल्या चॅनल मध्ये त्याचं ऍप्लिकेशन तुम्हाला दिसून येईल. Okay, now next proceeding. Now then, what is a weir? We have already studied weir in detail in different chapters. By now you may have recognized what is a weir. So unlike a notch which consists of a metallic material, a weir is a concrete or masonry structure placed in an open channel over which the flow occurs. Okay. So, what is the purpose of the weir? Can anybody tell me why do we construct weir in an open channel?
To increase the water level in that area.
Okay. Why do we have to increase the water level?
So that we can provide means the flow of the water will be easy to the nearby required places.
Okay. Good. That is one application. I'll tell you one more application which you will study in detail in the last year, that is in water resource engineering. Now let us study the top view. This is the path of the river and this is the direction of flow of the river. Okay. आता ही रिव्हर काय करते, एका पर्टिक्युलर सिटीला पाणी प्रोव्हाइड करते, सगळं ओके, ठीक आहे. ओके, बट फार अवे देर इज अ सिटी, okay, where rainfall is less, where there are no lakes, there is no river, so its water needs are not being satisfied, and you have to satisfy the need of water for that particular city. So what I will do, I know that a river passes over some kilometers for या सिटीच्या काही 100 किलोमीटर अंतरावरती एक रिव्हर फ्लो होते दुसऱ्या सिटी मधून. ओके, आणि प्लॅन काय झालाय की या रिव्हर मधलं वॉटर या सिटीला डायव्हर्ट करायचं. आता ते कसं डायव्हर्ट करणार? वी कॅन डायव्हर्ट इट थ्रू बाय कन्स्ट्रक्शन ऑफ अ कॅनॉल. ओके, इट कॅन बी अ लाईन्ड कॅनॉल और अन अनलाईन्ड कॅनॉल. ओके, तर या कॅनॉल थ्रू आपल्याला करा. पण प्रॉब्लेम काय होतो, जेव्हा आपण एक कॅनॉल कन्स्ट्रक्ट करतो किंवा एक एक्सकॅव्हेट करतो, तर रिव्हरचं बेड लेवल आणि कॅनॉलचं बेड लेवल कधीही मॅच होत नाही. रिव्हरचं बेड लेवल काय असतं, त्या एरिया मधलं सगळ्यात जो डीपेस्ट पॉइंट असतो, डीपेस्ट एलिव्हेशन असतो, त्या लेवलला काय असतं, तुमच्या रिव्हरचं बेड लेवल असतो. पण जो चॅनल और कॅनॉल आपण जो बिल्ड करणार आहे, एक्सकॅव्हेट करणार आहे, त्याचं जो बेड लेवल आहे तो या बेड लेवलला मॅच होऊ शकणार नाही. त्याच्यामुळं काय होणार, जरी आपण इथं कॅनॉल कन्स्ट्रक्ट केलं तर सगळं पाणी इथं जाईल हे आपल्याला माहित नाही. ओके, नॉर्मली रिव्हर लेवल इथपर्यंत असेल. ओके, तर आपण जरी कॅनॉल कन्स्ट्रक्ट केलं तर वॉटर लेवल तरी वॉटर रिव्हर मधनं कॅनॉल मध्ये जाईल. ओके, त्याची शक्यता कमी आहे. सो फॉर दॅट पर्पज व्हॉट वी डू इज वी कन्स्ट्रक्ट अ वियर अक्रॉस द section of a river. Now when we construct a weir, what happens on the upstream side, you can see here the water level increases. आणि जेव्हा वॉटर लेवल एवढी इन्क्रीज होईल, ओके, की ती कॅनॉल मध्ये एंटर व्हायला सुरू होईल. ओके, वॉटर लेवल आपण अशी इन्क्रीज करायची की वॉटर लेवल इन्क्रीज होऊन रिव्हर मधलं पाणी काय जाणार, तुमचं कॅनॉल मध्ये एंटर होणार. आणि एकदा कॅनॉल मध्ये एंटर झालं की दॅट वॉटर इज गोइंग टू ट्रॅव्हल to its particular location. So that is the main function of a weir. फक्त सिटीज नव्हे, इथं ऍग्रिकल्चरल फील्ड्स ना वॉटर प्रोव्हाइड करायचं आहे. ओके, आता ऍग्रिकल्चरल फील्ड्स काय असतात, तुमच्या रिव्हरच्या लेवल पेक्षा थोडे हायर लेवल वरती असतात. ओके, तर त्यांना सुद्धा वॉटर तिथपर्यंत पोहोचण्यासाठी आपण काय करतो, रिव्हर्स मध्ये किंवा कॅनॉल्स मध्ये या प्रकारे वियर कन्स्ट्रक्ट करतो, जिथं वॉटर लेवल इन्क्रीज केलं जातं अपस्ट्रीम साइडचं आणि वॉटर तुमचं डायव्हर्ट केलं जातं पर्टिक्युलर लोकेशनला. ओके, सो आय होप यू अंडरस्टूड दिस. सो दिस इज अ वे. सो नाउ व्हॉट इज अ स्पिलवे? व्हॉट इज अ स्पिलवे? कॅन एनीबडी टेल? Am I audible? Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I got disconnected there for some time. So as I was asking, what is a spillway? What is a spillway? Yes. Have you studied about spillway? Do you know anything about spillway? Okay, so spillways are a structure which are
सर वरचं अपस्ट्रीम साइड वॉटर जे असतं त्याला डिस्चार्ज करायला स्पिलवे कन्स्ट्रक्ट करतो.
okay. So spillways
कंट्रोल द रिलीज ऑफ वॉटर.
Okay. So spillways are structures which are constructed in the dam. Okay, weir वेगळा आहे, डॅम वेगळा आहे, बंधारा वेगळा आहे, डॅम वेगळा आहे. बंधाऱ्यामध्ये आपलं, वियर मध्ये आपलं काम काय आहे, आपल्याला फक्त वॉटर लेवल अपस्ट्रीम साइडचं इन्क्रीज करायचं आहे, आपल्याला वॉटर स्टोअर करायचं नाहीये. बट इन द डॅम द मेन पर्पज ऑफ द डॅम इज टू स्टोअर वॉटर ऑन द अपस्ट्रीम साइड. आणि हा वॉटर आपण ओव्हर द म्हणजे टोटल अराउंड द इयर आपण ते स्टोअर करतो. बट sometimes in the monsoon season what happens is, due to the incoming rain, water level in the reservoir rises up to a very dangerous level. Okay, water level can rise up to a very dangerous level. Now if the water level rises above the maximum water level, or it starts flowing above the dam, then what is going to happen? The dam is going to fail. So in order to prevent the dam from failing, what we do, above the maximum, for example इथं maximum water level आहे तुमचं, ओके, ह्याच्या वरती जर पाण्याची लेवल जायला लागली तर इथं आपण काय केलेले असतात, इथं आपण गेट्स कन्स्ट्रक्ट केलेले असतात आणि ते गेट्स ओपन करून आपण काय करतो, पाणी आपण डाऊनस्ट्रीम साइडला सोडून देतो. सो okay, this is nothing but a spillway. Now spillway can either be provided inside the body of the dam, at the side of the dam, or away from the body of the dam. Okay, if you want to see an example, you can Google it. A siphon spillway. तुम्ही व्हिडिओ पण बघितला असेल. या पोझिशनला इथं डॅम असतो, इथं वॉटर लेवल आहे, इथं बाजूला डोंगर आहे. ओके, इथं वॉटर लेवल, इथं रिझर्व्हायर मधलं वॉटर आहे, आणि एक इथं मोठं एक होल आहे ज्यातून खाली पाणी पडायला लागलंय. बघितलंय का कुणी कधी? Have you seen it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that is nothing but the siphon spillway. Okay, when the water level starts going above the permissible or maximum water level, the water is going to start entering that spillway and it is going to be drained to the downstream side, so that the water level in the reservoir can be kept up to permissible levels. So that is the spillway. So here I have told you the difference between what is a notch, what is a weir, and what is a spillway. Now, some important terms in notches and weirs before we start studying the different notches and weirs. First is the nappe. Okay, what is nappe? The sheet of water which is flowing.
अरे थांब ना, बघायला 100 बस का?
अजून दे 100. अजून
Please
200.
mute yourself. Roll number 66. Okay. So this sheet of water which is flowing over a weir or through a notch, okay, that sheet of water is known as the nappe. And what is the crest or sill? The bottom edge of the notch or the top edge of the weir over which ज्याच्या वरती जाऊन पाणी फ्लो व्हायला सुरू होणार आहे. ओके, तो टॉप मोस्ट पॉइंट. आणि क्रेस्ट नॉच मधलं काय? बॉटम ओपनिंग over which the water is going to flow is known as the crest. तर weir मध्ये काय? टॉप मोस्ट ओपनिंग. आणि नॉच मध्ये काय? त्याचा जो बॉटम ओपनिंग आहे नॉचची, त्याला आपण क्रेस्ट म्हणणार. Now the lecture is going to end in 2 to 3 minutes. Beforehand, I just want to show you some images of the notches. Okay, so we'll study classification of notches. The first classification is according to the shape of the opening. So based on the shape of the opening of the notch, the notches can be classified as rectangular notch, triangular notch, trapezoidal, parabolic, and step notch. Okay, so this is a rectangular notch. Example of a rectangular notch. You can see it is provided at the side of a tank or a channel. It can either be a tank or it can either be a channel. If I want to show you the image, this is the image. Is everybody able to see the image of the rectangular notch?
Yes, sir.
Just
Yes, sir.
show this with the red line. So this is the rectangular opening at the side of the channel. आता हे tank नाहीये, हे काय? This is a channel. Water is flowing through this channel, and when the water level rises up to this bottom opening of this rectangular notch, the water is going to start flowing through it. And what is the purpose of the notches? It is used in order to measure the discharge or the flow rate through a tank or an open channel. Next is the triangular notch. आपण परत एकदा हे उद्याच्या लेक्चर मध्ये बघणार आहे. फक्त तुम्हाला मला माहित आहे की प्रत्येक वेळी मुलांना वियर कळतात, स्पिलवे कळतात, जरा नॉच मध्ये कन्फ्युजन होतं. त्यामुळे तुम्हाला ती नॉचची इमेजेस दाखवतोय मी. This is a triangular notch where the opening is triangular in shape. and it is provided at the side of a open channel. Okay. Similarly, हे बघा इथं जे तुम्हाला व्ही नॉच वियर दिसत आहे, this type of V notch, it is used in the agricultural fields. आता इथं काय आहे, फॉर इथं माझ्या मते इथं काय केलं जातंय की ग्राउंड वॉटर जे आहे ते पंप करून वरती सरफेस लेवल पर्यंत आणलं जात आहे आणि त्या हौद आपण जे म्हणतो, ओके, टँक, ओपन टँक, त्या ओपन टँक मध्ये भरलेलं आहे आणि जेव्हा ओपन टँक मधली वॉटर लेवल जेव्हा पर्टिक्युलर हाईट पर्यंत पोहोचेल की जेव्हा ते क्रेस्ट लेवल क्रॉस करेल, then water start going to flow from it and it is going to reach the different agriculture fields. Okay, next is the trapezoidal notch. You can watch, this is a trapezoidal notch which is again sometimes used in the agricultural fields. This is the parabolic notch, example of a parabolic notch. Okay, and last is the stepped notch. So here I end the today's lecture. Tomorrow we will begin again with classification of notches and wears. Okay, so is there any question? Is there any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay, so thank you. I'll end the lecture here. Anyone else? Any question?
हॅलो सर.
Yes.
सर तुम्ही एक स्कॉलरशिपचं फॉर्म दिलता सर, या जिंदाल स्कॉलरशिप म्हणून सर, PDF.
जरा जोरात बोलू शकतो का? ऐकू येत नाही.
हॅलो.
येस.
यालाय सर आवाज?
हा, आता येतोय.
सर तुम्ही स्कॉलरशिपचं फॉर्म दिलता सर.
हा
हा सर, ते सबमिट कुठं करायचं सर?
वसीम सरांना विचारा ना.
त्यांना विचारते का?
हा, त्यांना विचारा.
चालतंय. ओके
काय असेल ना वसीम सरांना विचारा जावा.
ओके, थँक्यू सर.
Okay, so I'll end the lecture here if nobody has any question. Okay, thank you.